ACC basketball, Wednesday night, the 15th, 9 o'clock, Florida State and Miami. This is your home for ACC basketball, WBBZ-TV. Hey, we're back. We've got the hockey man, Steve Manson, in studio with us. And, Steve, it's just been a couple of weeks since the last time we had you on, but there's been so many changes again. Seems like every week the Sabres call a news conference.
Seems like a lifetime. You know,
First of all, let's talk about today's announcement.
Okay.
It's the All-American Prospects game. Tell us exactly what that means for Buffalo.
Well, in Canada, for about the last 20 years, they've been having a prospects game, which has been extremely successful, where they invite the top 40 probable draft choices in Canadian draft choices, and they play it either in Toronto or Calgary or Montreal or someplace like that. And they have Bobby Orr as a coach and Don Cherry as a coach, and it's a big deal. It's been very successful. Well, USA Hockey about 3 years ago decided to do the same thing down here. They've had a little trouble kicking it off. They had the first one here in Buffalo, which was moderately successful. I think people paid attention to it. Of course, it was the start of the lockout year, so a lot of people actually wanted to see some hockey. But last year it was in Pittsburgh. Wasn't that greatly received. And now they've decided to come back to Buffalo, not just for 1 year, but for the next 2 years. And I think it's a very nice thing for Buffalo. I think it's something that could really grow here on, maybe even on a permanent basis. There is, you're bringing in all the top USA players who are going to be eligible for the following draft. And let's be honest, Buffalo fans are going to be very interested about prospects that are coming in for the next draft. And I think the next couple of years should be kind of exciting here.
Well, they're locked up for 2 years. I think because of the facility they're building at the Harbor Center,
right.
I think we're going to see USA Hockey here in town a lot.
Oh, there's no question about it. USA Hockey and the Sabres are really in together, and you and I've had this discussion before, but USA Hockey is going to find and use that new facility, the Harbor Center, as almost like USA Hockey East. You're going to see a lot of programs coming in, tournaments. I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just my feelings, but with the World Juniors being in Toronto and Montreal in 15 and 17, there's a very good chance they'll be using that facility as the staging area for the U.S. junior team for the 2 weeks of practice and maybe some exhibition games and stuff like that. Certainly would make a lot of sense for them to do that. So I think you're going to see USA Hockey and the Sabres bringing in more and more programs and clinics and seminars and tournaments and stuff. I think that building is going to be very attractive to USA Hockey.
There was some speculation today. There was a lot of news coverage, maybe even a little letdown when they found out what the announcement was, because some people wondered if the announcement would be that the juniors, the World Juniors,
right,
would return here in 2018, but that was premature.
Well, I even speculated a little bit that might be happening, but I think with the fact that Toronto and Montreal are sharing the 2015 and the 2017, maybe putting them in Buffalo in 2018 kind of is killing the golden goose, because let's be honest, the World Junior needs the Canadians to come down here to be successful, and after having them for 3 or 4 years, that would, you're kind of, but they will be back because USA Hockey runs it, and the most successful World Junior on American ground has been here in Buffalo, and they will be back here in Buffalo.
One of the things they talked about today was that Buffalo did such a good job with the World Juniors that other American cities are now interested in bidding. So they kind of I won't say shot themselves in the foot, but they opened up other cities' eyes to the fact that this is a true attraction. But there's no mistake. They also talked today that Buffalo was disappointed they missed out on the Frozen Four.
Yeah.
And thought they had done a great job with that. But
they did.
This facility now that's being built adjacent to the first Niagara Center is going to make a world of difference, I think, for future bids on tournaments or what have you.
Oh, absolutely, especially the World Junior. Let's be honest, the Canadian-Russian game, the U.S.-Canadian game, the Russians and the Czechs and stuff, that all sold out down at the arena. But there was a lot of games, and I don't want to slight anybody, but Norway and Belarus or whatever. Those are games you could slide over across the street. They have a 2,000-seat arena when it's all done. That's perfect situation for World Junior. I think that's certainly going to be a big, and to tell you the truth, I was very surprised when we didn't get another Frozen Four, and I think we will, because it was extremely successful when it was here. But the Frozen Four is 3 days. World Junior lasts 11 days. There's a big difference there.
Tim Murray, the new general manager. How well do you know Tim Murray, and what do you think of the hire?
Don't know him very well at all. I've only met him a couple times in some rinks around Canada and stuff like that. I know a number of people who are associated with Ottawa. I know a number of people who have been associated with Tim over the years with different clubs, and I don't know anybody that doesn't speak very highly of him. I think it's an excellent hire for the Sabres. I think Tim brings that evaluation and scouting ability that the Sabres, let's be honest, they've drafted a few good players in recent years, but they've got a lot of draft choice coming up. And I think Murray is a guy, and he certainly comes from a hockey family. His two uncles, Brian, of course, is GM of Ottawa, and he's been a coach. His other uncle, Terry's been a coach in the National Hockey League. This is a hockey family, and the kid, from the way I've decided, kid to you and me, well, at least me, is a rink rat, and I've always thought very highly.
You're referring to Murray as a kid?
Yes.
He's 50 years old.
I know, and I'm much older than that. And but I've always been a big believer in guys who are running hockey programs or being involved with hockey. They've got to have a little rink rat in them, and that's what I hear he's got.
We're going to talk more about not just Murray, but there's a lot of head honchos in that organization. Yes. I saw it firsthand today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk also about Ted Nolan, talk about Grigorenko, another thing with the Buffalo Sabres with Steve Manson, right after this on All Sports Western New York.